Hi everyone, welcome once again to our Hattrick Direct channel. I'm joined, as you can see, by HT-Johan and HT-Tasos. And today, we will talk about the new things that we released this week. Mainly the announcement that we will introduce a Homegrown League and the possibility for Platinum and Diamond supporters of having a fourth team. We've also created two polls in the Global English Forum with a series of different achievements that were suggested in the Backstage Forum. In this poll, or in these polls actually, two of them, people can vote for their favorite achievement. All the achievements will probably be implemented, but preference will be given to the ones that get the most votes. And finally, we will announce something that we're preparing with the initials HSC. Feel free to guess in the comments what these initials might stand for. But we also have, I said we could start actually talking about the achievements with Tassos, mainly because he's the main guy leading the thread and the poll. Can you explain a little bit what these achievements are and why we want to implement them?
First of all, hi Ron. So a couple of years ago, we revamped and recreate the whole structure behind the achievements because with that way we could easily add new type of them. And the last time we introduced some, it was I think 2-3 seasons ago. So we thought that this is the time. And what is the best way to find new ideas? To ask the users. So we went back to Backstage, which is the closed forum we have for feedback, and everyone was free to suggest their own ideas. We actually collected more than 50, if I remember correctly, but we have to filter out some that were a clear in-game advantage, some that we didn't really like as a direction, and some others that were technically not easy or possible to do it. So we ended up with around 20 of them. The original idea was to have a poll in global and let the users choose a few of them that we are going to implement. But as I mentioned in global, we love all of them, and we say, why not? Let's do it all. And actually, that's what we are going to do. We are going to split that in batches in different phases because there is some limitation on the time we can spend. And the poll we have right now in global will only be used to prioritize our work. So those that users like more will come first. And if we dive deeper now, it's two main categories, like the main category that is for everyone. And then we introduce a totally new achievements category, which we call Arena. And those are all achievements that you can get only from Arena matches. Right now, let me check the numbers. I'm not going to share any results. It's well, the polls are hidden, and you will only be able to find out at the end. From what I can see, the poll ends at 11 of the month. So if we check the main achievements, there is two that users really love. I'm not gonna say which of them. And actually there's none of the achievements that no one has voted. So there is one that everyone loved. It's really ahead of everything else.
Wow.
That's nice. Actually, it's one that I also like a lot. And then if we go to Arena, I think there's a little bit different. Yeah, we have two that are going side by side. And based on how the numbers are, I don't know which of the two will win. And then the rest, again, are really close. But as we said, we are going to implement more than one from each category. So keep voting.
Yeah. So probably the one that is really leading in the main poll will be implemented, and the other two probably, depending on how the vote ends, but I don't think it will change for what you mentioned.
No, I think the first two are clear winners. So the third, fourth, and fifth, or depending on how many we will end up implementing in the third batch, will be the one that will change until the last time. Uh, yeah, it's maybe we can give like a spoiler and next week somewhere, like maybe in global or in one of our social media, but we will keep it secret until the end.
Okay, good. Would you like to explain some of them? Like go through the list of like achievements
Mm,
first for those that weren't aware of the polls, and also because maybe some of them are nice to be explained. They need some
mm,
explanation because just one line may not be enough.
yeah, let me see if there is anything.
Hmm.
Um,
For instance, we can start with the main category of,
yeah, do you have any specific that you like to go discuss?
and we can maybe
Um,
list all of them and see if you want to add something. For
Which one
instance,
yeah,
is the most difficult to get?
I
hmm,
think it's the cup pentathlon. It's the one that you need to through your whole career to get to win all of the cups from your country. I There was someone who posted that has already done it from another country. I don't know who, but I just read the thread earlier, the forum post earlier today. Uh,
so for all the cups, you mean league,
Main cup,
main cup, and
not league,
not league.
just the like the regular cups. So we
Okay.
have the main cup, the secondary cups,
Hmm.
which is and the consolation cup.
Yeah,
So we have five cups: main,
that's true.
three challengers, and one consolation. So five cups.
Hmm.
Of course, you cannot do it
In one
in the same
season.
season, but actually, that's a nice achievement to discuss because it's one that got. I think it was the only one that got some kind of arguments against it because some users felt that if we introduce that, we are going to force users to drop early. And instead of fighting for the main cup, they're going to start fighting for the secondary cups. But to be honest, I don't think that through the time of your team life, you can always aim and focus for the main cup. I mean, if your team is somewhere like early or mid of his life, you can aim for another cup and not the main one. It's not like you are gonna. Of course, some users that are achievers, like they really love achievements, they are gonna do it. But I don't think the majority of them will decide to drop from the main cup and all the income they get and the experience to just get the achievements.
and and if you win it, you can take part in the 100 Masters. So
Yeah,
that's risky. That's
yeah.
risky, and because you never know if you would definitely in the end win those
Hmm.
cups. They may
Exactly.
be easier, but it's not sure. Even if you have an amazing team. There was
Hmm.
a question here that maybe we should highlight by sub level. He asks, what about if you win cups in multiple countries? I guess you have different teams, so.
Yeah, I think that's a question that came up if it will be for one single team or if it will between your different teams.
Mhm.
Honestly, we haven't discussed that, and we don't know if we are gonna limit it to your one team. So if you want to have it with the same team, I think it will be fair to do it like that. But yeah, I don't
Then
think
it
we
would
have
become a
discussed
supporter achievement.
exactly. Yeah.
So it's a different achievement. Um,
Yeah, well, you could win it without being a supporter with just one team, or you could win it in different.
yeah, but then we can't. If there's an advantage in being supporter, it has to be in the supporter category, I
Yeah,
think.
I have to
So,
say though that I think it's a really hard achievement to
Mm.
get.
mhm.
I mean, who will get it? You mentioned that there's one team. Yeah, I saw that message also in the forum that has already gotten that. Yeah, and actually I saw the trophy cabinet. But I mean, who else? What team is able
Yeah.
and willing to do that. I mean, wow, that's a really hard achievement. I will definitely never get it.
Yeah,
Zero point
probably.
zero 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 0.001% of the users will have this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tricky. So let's see another one. For instance, the first one, the gang is on the field, receive X cards. We still have to, I guess, decide what number in the same match and multi-step.
Yeah.
I think that's clear. Maybe the question would be: is the same a yellow card than a red card, or red cards would count double? I don't think so
Yeah.
because it says just cards. So
I think it's simpler as cards. Actually, I know that I'm jumping to another subject, but something I totally forgot to mention is that when we ask backstage users to suggest their own ideas, we said that if the top of each category win, we are gonna mention and give all the credits to the one that suggested it to the next editorial. So Johan, don't forget that. So
Okay.
those that will win, we need to mention them to the editorial.
Mhm.
So I think only 2, 3 of them are our own internal ideas. All the rest are from users. So we need to give them all the credits to them.
Of course.
But
yeah,
yes, I think this about the cards, it's not defined, but I think all of them should count.
mhm. Yeah, and we have an amazing community. I mean, they have
Mm,
lots of ideas, lots. Sometimes the ideas are too hard to
mm,
implement, but with these achievements, we could see it. I mean, almost all the proposals, all the suggestions were good.
mm.
And
That's
okay, I didn't spend much time thinking about achievements, but many of them that even crossed had not even crossed my mind, and they were like, "Wow, this one is good." So
yeah.
we've got an amazing
It's yeah.
community.
It's so impressive when you include the users to the decisions, this kind of decisions. Those are actually easy decisions that
Yeah,
anyone can give their own ideas.
yeah. First of all, let me highlight a comment that I'm just seeing now because it's recurring.
Mhm.
Congratulations for the idea of a new league, but big but. In
Mm.
Paraguay, we're waiting for a change on the weather update. Blah blah blah. Don't worry,
Mm.
guys. It's almost already being taken care of. So exclusive, extra. It will be sold pretty soon. So don't worry, guys, and you can stop now writing in the Twitch because it's solved almost. So let's get
Yeah.
back to that.
Just to mention that it's not only Paraguay, but
Yeah,
you Chase, you went through all the weather updates for every single league, and
exactly.
you find all those that might be problematic. So
Yeah.
we are gonna update
There was another
this
South
schedule.
American country, I think it was Bolivia, that
Mm,
was also pretty close to the matches of the America's Cup. So
mm,
yeah, this will be changed. So more achievements, for instance, I think there's one that it's quite easy. It's the second one in the list. We've got it all covered. Field a
mm,
team with all 7 specialities. With all, well,
mhm,
not that easy actually. All of them. 2 of them are
mm.
quite hard to find.
Yeah, it was even harder in the past. Now we have increased a little bit the chances to get a player like this. But yeah, it's you still need to look for that player. But it's a nice, fun achievement.
Yeah, looks good. Also, we got the future statue. I think it's nice. I mean, I like the name. A single player played a number of official matches for your team, and it's multi-step, of course.
Mm. Now I think it's a nice chance to mention how we get the steps, at least in the last time that we introduced many.
Yeah.
So it's not entirely random or by some kind of logic, but we go through in the past data, like in our database, and we check how many have actually achieved that in some cases. How many, for example, we'll go through the players and see how many they have played for the same team. And then based on that, we say, okay, this should be super rare, so let's take the last part. And we still don't have done that. That's why we have those X's, because we don't know what rare should be in this achievement. But if we count official matches, maybe something around 500 will be super rare. I don't know. That's a guesstimation.
That's a lot. Yeah, but I think it's nice when you have multiple levels, multiple steps to make it hard to reach the last one.
It helps that players stay active until after 100 years of age. You know, that you can keep playing them.
Exactly. There's a question by Perst. He says, when there's a rare achievement, it says less than 1%. However, it would be good to know in that case the exact amount of users, because it's a huge difference in none of the users achieved it, or if it's 200. What do we think about that?
I think we had that. I think in the past we used to show the exact number. And then when we revamped the achievements, we changed it to a percentage. I don't really remember if it was a technical reason or if it was more like a decision we wanted to take. But yeah, I don't think it's a real problem to check it. I mean, if we can show it in a hover, like on the mouse or somewhere in a footnote,
maybe it's something to bear in mind, because it's true, sometimes it's just 0.001%, and that makes it even more special. You can sometimes most of the achievements guess more or less if it's really rare or not. But yeah. And Sublevel asks, or actually states, that less than 1% means that someone has it. Is that true in the achievements, or it could be 0?
That's what that was my gut feeling also, but I didn't know if that's true. But it sounds feasible. It could be like that. I think we missed an interesting question just before Prist, the one from Maxim, about retroactive achievements.
How do you decide if a new achievement will be retroactive or not? Is the only criteria that you have the necessary data from the past? It's an important criteria.
Yeah. So what I mentioned in the forum is that since we start introducing more achievements, we decided that everything should start fresh. However, there are some cases, that some really, really difficult achievements. And in these cases, which is case by case, we cannot announce it ahead in advance. We might do it retroactively. And for those cases, we need to check if the data are available. I mean, there might be some kind of achievement that we just start storing data. So in those cases, we can literally do nothing. If the data are easily accessible. I mean, I remember there was an achievement, I don't remember which one, but the last time we introduced and we were thinking about retroactively adding it, we calculated that it might need to run like for a couple of days, like literally like leaving the database running for 2 days just to get the achievement retroactively for everyone. So in those cases, we exclude it. And then the third criteria is how much time do we need to do it? If it is like 10, 15, 20 minutes for one of our devs, or if it is like half a day. If we introduce 10 achievements and we need 5 extra days just to make them retroactively, then that makes the project even bigger.
Okay, that's linked to this question. Do you have some data from the very beginning of Hattrick, and what kind of data?
I can answer that, I guess, because Hattrick started in 97, and all the data, and then in 2000, in the autumn of 2000, it was all migrated to a new platform. So match data and player data and statistics and all that is only from 2000 and onwards. But I mean, like we have some data like in saved in other ways. We have like stored that old website and so on, but not in a working manner.
Mm-hmm.
So the first official match is from 2000, but the game is 3 years older.
Okay.
I guess the titles and so on, like if they won series, I think that data is actually that goes further back. I think because if you had titles from before then, but that was something we imported specifically.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's take a quick look at the other main achievements, maybe. We have the goal machine, which is similar to the future statue, but instead of official matches played, is goals scored. I guess it's more or less it will work more or less the same way. Then the top youth team, which is one I really like. I don't know if it's the one that is most voted, but I really like it. But it's I can say it's something of a little bit egocentric, because the achievement is get first place in a number of youth leagues with the same team, multi-step. I've won 3 youth leagues. I mean, I want some recognition for that. It's the only thing I've won. So
I mean, it's a nice little step towards making the youth leagues, count for something. So
yeah.
I like that one also.
For here, there was a couple of comments claiming that we are going to force users to go to a 4 teams league just to make them easier to win it. But again, keep in mind that achievements is also for fun. You don't need to cheat to get them. If someone does it, then it's up to them. But let's have fun while you try that.
Now you're treading in dangerous waters here, like suggesting that Hattrick is just fun, No, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, there was another question a few minutes ago from Liberina. Why are 0 points at some achievements like use at Hattrick or Easter eggs?
I think the years of Hattrick was we decided to put it on 0 because it's something that you cannot get. I mean, there is no way to go past in the future, in the past, and sign up earlier to get more points. And the whole idea is that everyone can look for the top 1 position in the achievements. So if someone sign up today, he has to be able to reach the first position. For Easter eggs, I think I don't know. I don't really remember. Do you remember, Johan? Maybe.
Sorry, I was distracted by a question in the chat about my family life here. What did you ask?
Why the Easter eggs is doesn't have any points, doesn't award any points. It's a 0 point achievement.
Yeah, I wondered about that too, actually. I guess it's because I think it was like this. The first time we did them, we were not sure they were gonna come back. So then, if you were, away that week, and it was only that week that you could find them, and then they never came back ever, it would be quite unfair, to have them as an achievement that count. That's the explanation that like sounds right to me. Of course, I don't remember it exactly what we said, but. Because it was, I think we decided afterwards that this was going to be a recurring thing. It was not decided when we did it the first time. Now it could make more sense to include it in among the others, but yeah. Oh yeah, we could reveal who was the first to win the mysterious egg.
Oh, yeah. Do you have the data here, Tasos? I have it somewhere.
Uh,
I should look for it.
Yeah, I can find it somewhere.
Yeah.
I got it from both Gusi and Tassos were
Yeah.
so curious that they went into the database and checked.
Mhm.
So let's see, and during or after the stream.
Yeah. And while you look for it, I'll highlight first question. Well, actually, statement. There is no notification in my office that we are online. Thus, low number of people here.
That's a very, very good point.
Yeah.
I thought it's at least the Twitch, but the Twitch badge is there, but it doesn't say live. Is that it?
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah, that should be fairly easy to fix.
Not bad numbers though. We're around 111 viewers together. Twitch and YouTube. So
Yeah, but how many are online on the site? 8,000 or something. 7, 8.
let's bring them all.
Yeah.
send a newsletter, spam them.
Okay. So here is the. I can say the top 3.
Okay.
Let's see. We exclude the 2 HTs that found it. First up is the user Gionj.
Okay.
Gjonj. Can anyone figure out where this guy comes from, or this guy or girl? Let's see here.
So GJONJ, right?
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, he found it 2 minutes earlier than the second.
Yeah, exactly. So it was interesting because we were giving hints, and then I was giving a hint that was quite a little bit too good, maybe. And then we had like 5 or 6 in the same minute. That went for it. Let's just see where Yonch is coming from here. Now I can't sign in apparently to the site. Let's see here.
Actually, Stuptechelt 69. Stuptechelt, I think it's pronounced like that. He says the world battle is on right now. We don't have time to follow the Twitch. Yes, you do. I mean, we're multitasking. Come on, 3 tabs: World Battle, World Cup, Under 21, and Twitch. I mean, the World Cup, the World Battle, and the Under 21 are silent.
So yeah, Gionj is an Italian user.
Okay.
That
Not an Italian name, definitely.
No. So congratulations to you. And then a few minutes after, so this was at 5:31. Then 2 minutes later, we got the user Siuxiu. I can post it here, maybe. So then you can post it. Richard, sorry, Chase.
Yeah.
Where are we? There is one there. And then we have next guy.
Okay, so someone is listening to a World Cup stream. Okay, that is understandable. Yes, if you listen to 2 Twitches at the same time, you'll have a big cacophony in your ears. So who are you listening to? I mean, we have amazing streamers here, so we love promoting them. So feel free to share who you're listening to. Just don't leave now. Come on. I mean, we're about to reveal nice stuff. Okay, so while you look for more users and where from,
you have them in our chat there. We have first guy was from Italy, and then Finland and Switzerland were the 3 first.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think during the stream there was another 5, and including sub level 4 and CHPP Telus that are maybe better known here.
Sweden's official stream. Sahara Dark is watching Sweden's official stream.
Oh,
great.
Cool.
Johan, stay. Don't leave. So that's the name of the second. It looks like someone banged their hands into the keyboard, but I will not try to pronounce that. Great. So,
Uh,
as you say, once we revealed one important hint, I guess, many people started finding the egg consecutively. So,
Yeah.
good. It's good to know. So, shall we take a look at the questions that the people are asking? Because they are very nice questions. Maybe not yet from the Homegrown League, or maybe we should. I don't know. What do you think, guys? Should we move to the Homegrown League now, or stay a
Yeah,
little?
yeah, sure. Like
I mean,
we can do that. If other questions pop up, we can always take them later.
Okay, because there's one question. I guess everybody now, all the viewers know that we're releasing a Homegrown League in the next season, and thus bringing the number of possible teams that you can have as up to four, not including the Hattrick Anniversary League, which is a completely separate team that everybody could have. So, one of the questions that's popping up a lot in the forum is related to the long shot teams. So, Destello asks, aren't you afraid that the Homegrown League will be filled with long shot teams? It's the only tactic in which all players need more or less the same training. Do you have any measures planned against this? Tassos, I guess you would like to reply to the one.
well, as I mentioned, it might sound funny, but the Homegrown League, it's the most long-term planning that someone can imagine. And it's the best way to realize users that they need to learn how to be flexible and adapt. I mean, anytime in the future, we might decide to change something in long shots that they can destroy their plans. Of course, if we do it, we are going to announce it. But if we announce it like 2 seasons ahead, 3 seasons ahead, it's still not enough for homegrown. So what I'm going to say is whatever you do in Homegrown League, try to be flexible. Try to, if you want to build a long shot team, do it, but always have a backup plan. It's
Mhm.
it's not like the Hattrick, the match engine will stay the same for the next
Mhm.
20 seasons.
Mm.
So do it in something in mind, like be
Yeah.
flexible.
And I mean, we don't even consider any kind of like special game engine mechanics for homegrown leagues. I mean, like the match engine will always be the same as the rest of the game, obviously. So
More questions. This one has been answered, but no problem saying it back. Will the Homegrown League have unlimited seasons? Yes. We're not planning a limited league in time.
until until our sun runs out of energy, we will the league will continue.
Yeah. So if you guys see any questions that are interesting, for instance, this one not really related to that, but maybe more to the achievements. How can I join backstage? Tassos.
If you are already a stage user, then you already have access to backstage. If you don't, then you need to apply for stage access. And stage is our testing server where we release first all the changes we do, and users can spend some time to test, and then we go to production. So there is somewhere in the site a link that you can apply for stage access. And if you do it, then you get access to backstage as well.
Mhm.
But if you cannot find, please send me an HTML in the game and I'm gonna help you.
Of course, accessing stage is for a reason, for a purpose. I mean, you need to test things. I mean, if you
Yeah,
just want to be there just because, it makes no sense. You need to be active, testing
exactly.
stuff, and
It it's really important for us to have active stage users because those are the users that we're gonna see a new feature right away after our release. And if there is any kind of bug, anything that we miscalculate or something that we just couldn't think, they are gonna find it first. So
Mhm.
if we only have 5-stage users, then that doesn't work. But thankfully, we have a lot of active users right now.
Yeah, we do. So another one. Will the places in the Homegrown League be limited?
Okay, that's a good question. I think we need to. It's a little bit tricky, because we don't really know exactly how big the interest is. So, I mean, ideally, we would get exactly the amount of users signing up that fits into one league level of a league. Whether that is 8,000 or 16,000 or something like that. Probably that won't happen, but I mean, we really, really want to avoid spreading them out between league levels. So the idea, I mean, we're going to try to get everyone into the same league level at least, so they start on the same level. But I don't know. We haven't really talked about how we ensure that. So maybe we need to do some kind of pre-registration or something that like gives us a window to increase the size of the league or move the teams or something like that. But yeah, that's the ambition, at least, to make sure that everyone starts on the same.
Yeah. So I saw one.
Well, I mean, I don't think there's any scenario where we wouldn't be able to accommodate everyone that wants in. Like I don't think there's unless, let's say, we have a few hundred more than fits into one division league level. Maybe we would decide to cap it there, but in principle, I think everyone will get in.
So similarly related question. I started my second team this season. Will there be an exception to close this team and start the Homegrown League at the start? Or will I be screwed by not having it open for 16 weeks yet?
Well, we always we try to always open an exception for that 16-week rule when we add new leagues, and we will do that this time as well.
I would like to point out one thing that has popped up in the forum about someone mentioning that if we're not afraid of users trying to get one team, seeing that the players are not what they expected, and then closing the team and opening another one and closing and opening until they find one team that suits their needs. I would say that that's not possible, actually, because the 16-week rule applies just once.
Exactly. Yeah.
So people don't know that sometimes because it happened in the last.
People have found out and been very sad after finding that out. So yeah, it's a one-time exception.
Exactly. You can just close one team and then open another one. You cannot start trying if your team has the players that you want or similar things. Which brings us to another question that has been asked a lot. Will the teams be different? Will they be similar? Have we really thought about it deeply or halfway, Tasos?
Yeah, there is some concepts there that haven't been decided until the end, but the discussion is around how much of diversity we want to introduce at the start of the league. The main idea is that we should not leave the luck, like the random, as they used to say, to impact Homegrown League. So probably the plan as it is now, the starting players will be as close as possible between the different teams. And there have been some arguments that leadership and experience can play a huge role there. So we will handle it. So there won't be teams that are gonna get a really high leadership player that they can sell. Actually, in this case, it doesn't matter, but they cannot use to transfer to exchange it to a coach. So we will make it sure that the players on the starting lineup will be quite similar. But I gave a spoiler in the forum in the way that we wanted to bring some kind of diversity. And that's it, that right now, new signups gets two players to choose every day for like 2 3 days after the registration. So one idea that we had is that we pre-create some players. It will be the same players for everyone, but it will be many, like 30, 40 players in different positions: goalkeepers, future coaches, um, PNF, TDF, all the different positions. And then once every week for the first season, you can choose which type of player you want to, and then you get two different players to choose. So in this way, the user might be able to have an impact, short impact, small impact to the direction that they want to. And with this way, we are going to bring some kind of diversity between the teams. Otherwise, the whole first season, it will be exactly the same for everyone, like 18 players, exactly the same. So with this way, it's still fair because all the players are the same, but we give them the chance to pick up some players that will make their team different. It's still not defined exactly how that will be, but that's one of the ideas we have.
Mhm. I think it's very interesting because I wouldn't personally want every team having the exact same players. It would be boring, predictable. Many teams
Mm.
would end up like finding what the perfect combination of
Mm.
these players is, and then people would give advice in the forums. You should do that. That's the best thing. Papa Mish would upload a video. The best, the best thing is to do with these players. So it would be predictable. So with these, players that you can choose, I think it makes it more different
Yeah.
and unpredictable. And another thing that has been asked a lot: have you decided if the Homegrown League will be allowed to sell players, maybe with some restrictions?
Mhm.
This has been asked a lot and given lots of opinions in the forum.
Mhm. I read in the forum, and there's totally like the two different opinions,
Yeah.
like totally divided. I have to say that I read one idea that I really liked, and if everyone agree, I would like to lean towards that. Is that all the sales goes directly to the board reserves, because that's why even if you get lucky in the first few seasons with a really great youth player, you cannot use it to buy a coach right away. You cannot use it to hire the best staff right away. You can do it in the future. Um, I don't really like the idea to not being able to sell player, because if you got an extra one that doesn't fit your plan, why you should force to fire him? I mean, even if from psychological part of the game, it will be really hard to either keep him and seeing him not getting training, or fire him. So there's absolutely no reason to make users go through that. And we also have the case that you might get some kind of national team prospects that you don't want to keep. So again, we might destroy
Yeah.
those players. So selling with this kind of restriction sounds good. It's not decided, but my personal view is that I kind of like it.
Yeah, because in the end, with all these players that you will get in the first season, plus of course the main ones that will be, I guess, 18 or around that number, plus the youth polls that you will be promoting in the following seasons, you'll end up with at least 30, 40, even
Mm,
50 players, and some of them would be good. And I
mm,
wouldn't want to be forced to fire a good player.
No.
So and it's nice to be able to get some money out of certain players. I mean, it's homegrown league. Your players have to be homegrown. but that doesn't mean that you have to keep them all and make a huge squad of 50 players or fire them.
I
But at
think
the same time, I mean, I also like this idea, I must say. But the perspective will be quite different in this league, because if you get a great youth pool, you probably want to keep him, because it's going to be the way to succeed also. But of course, it could be that you get good youth pools, and it's impossible to train them at the same time, and then maybe you prefer to sell.
Yeah, it has been said a lot that if you get an amazing youth pool, you can get like 10 million. Yeah, but you will not be able to buy such a good player.
Yeah.
That's the best player you would get. Are you competing to
really
win?
want to.
Or are you competing to earn money? I mean, what do you do with the money? Yeah, excellent coach, but you would never be able to buy a player like that one.
Yeah.
So it's true that it could
Also,
happen, but
yeah, I think there have been created this kind of fear has been created because of the Universal League, because there it made a big difference. If you were lucky and you had such a player and you could sell it, then you could use that money.
exactly.
And that money has a direct impact, not like better stuff, better coach. You could replace that player with other players.
Okay, lots of interesting questions. I think it's a nice topic for what I can see. One of the last ones, and it's related to what you were saying before, Tassos, the choice between two players. Their abilities, will they be known before choosing the type of player? If you have already decided?
Yeah, I think that we haven't really decided, but my idea was, let's say that you can decide that this week I need a goalkeeper. And then you get one goalkeeper with high defending and another goalkeeper with high set pieces. And you need to decide which of the two you want to. So it's more like you choose the position or the type of player, and you get two different kind of players. So for example, if you decide that, okay, I want the TDF, it will be technical forward with either high playmaking or high passing, depending on what you want to. So it's, again, a choice that this is more or less how I was imagining that for every position we have two fixed players or three fixed players, and then you randomly get the choice between the two. So again, it's still on paper. Nothing has been developed. So if someone comes up with something that like a strong argument that what we plan to do is not good, feel free to share it.
Another question. You said that the Homegrown League is for long team building. Is there any chance that the Youth Academy will get some boost, I guess? Boots would be important as well, but boost a bit different than at the moment. I'm sorry. I think that would have the best impact for the managers.
Sorry. I think there was a discussion last season or 2 seasons ago in backstage, and we said that our intention is to make youth academies more fun and more engaged. So it's not only training. That it will make sense for you to play,
Exactly.
be competitive, and train at the same time. We don't have specific plans. It's not part of our next season or two, but if we are talking about long term, it's something that we would like to do sometime in the future. So that can be 3 seasons or it can be 8 seasons. We don't know, but and I know that Johan, you always wanted some kind of a league structure in youth.
Yeah.
So
hard to do, but in some way it will be fun to do.
So this question, will every supporter, platinum or diamond, have the opportunity to have a fourth team, either in the Homegrown League or in any other league? Let's clarify that. Once again, Johan?
Yep. No, absolutely. It's all inclusive supporter package. So if there's a fourth slot, they will get it.
So
And they can
platinum
use it.
will have to get a second extra license,
Yeah, exactly.
and diamonds will have it included in the
Yeah.
whole package.
Yes.
And they can choose either the Homegrown League or any other league that they want, and with free slots, of course, which I guess many people know now that you can see if you're a platinum or diamond supporter how many free slots there are in any country.
Actually, we got a lot of questions about how you check that, and it's
How do you see it?
easy. Yeah,
Can you
Yeah.
can
it's
we show
easy
it?
as. Yeah, maybe. Can you share the screen here?
I actually showed it in the video. In the video
Mhm.
I did, but I didn't show how to go there. But it's in the manager
Yeah.
page. Yeah, but it's true. I mean, the video is quick. I mean, it's not a tutorial of how
Yeah.
to go there. But yeah, are you looking for it, Johan?
Oh, I thought that you were gonna do it. Sorry. Because I
Never
have
mind.
some.
I would say
Yeah.
it's the manager page. You can go to the manager page, and if you're a supporter, you can
Yeah.
apply for for an
You go to
additional.
your manager page. Let's see if I find it here.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah, it's actually
the
quite easy.
problem is that I have a free slot at the moment. So, but I guess so. I would have seen that anyway, right?
Yeah.
But now you can see it even if you have all slots taken.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, exactly.
you can. I can share my screen. Let's see.
Mhm. I actually have 3 teams now because I had to open one for the video, for the release video, and I can apply for a new team. So, but I'm not gonna share my screen now because I have so many screens now here that I don't want to have more.
Do you see something?
I don't see anything at the moment.
Okay.
Have you shared it?
Yeah. Never mind. Because it's
It's easy. It's easy. Manager page.
yeah.
My
You go to your
club.
manager page and then you click apply for an additional club. Or if you have all slots taken, there's another link, I think. So
Mhm. So, can any country be chosen in the Homegrown League? That's the first question. So, once you join the Homegrown League, you apply for the Homegrown League, you will be able to choose any country in the world, right?
if there is slots available.
Yeah.
No, for
In
homegrown
the
leagues, there's
Homegrown
no
League.
slots.
In the
No,
Homegrown League.
sorry. Yeah, of course you can. Of
But
course.
it's right. I mean, if there are spots available in the Homegrown League.
You choose a country and a region, don't you?
Yeah.
And then your team belongs to that country, but not to the league of that country because it belongs to another league.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there'll be matches between countries then, not regions. I guess. I don't play in any of those leagues. Actually, it's a real question for me. I'm not playing in the anniversary league, nor in the international league. And I will play in the homegrown league for sure because I never buy players. So that's the league for me. That's the only one that I can be competitive. And so what else? Similar to what we were saying. So now Diamond will include 2 extra teams compared to Platinum. Yeah, compared to the basis of Platinum. But Platinum can buy 2 extra licenses. Right. I said it correctly, right?
Yep.
So more questions. Let's see. I have lots of them that I highlighted. So yeah, this one. What about youth players in the first season? I mean, I have a plan. I can share
Yeah.
my plan. I think everybody will have this plan. I mean, it's easy to
Yeah. I
think,
mean,
but what do you think, Tassos?
this is more like what strategy you want to follow. If you want to be the best in the short term, you go for scout networking because you can start pulling the first week and you can train. But if you want to see the long term, then you go for youth train and then you cannot pull anything from one season.
Mhm.
So I don't think it makes sense to change it because that's bring a kind of decision that you need to take. So it's part of the game. It's part of how you want to create your own path. And if we make everything exactly the same, then there is no point to play in this league, because that was the main reason of this league, that to show who can take the best decisions.
Mhm. Yeah, actually, I can share my plan because it's not that amazing. But my idea would be to pull first from the scout network so that I can train some
Mm,
players. I don't know what kind of players I'll be able to train in the beginning. Maybe from all the options that we've been giving, we can start training. But if not,
mm.
I would pull two or three, or depending on what I decide to train, which I have no idea, and then open the youth
Mm.
academy. That would be my plan now, before knowing what Tassos has in mind as to players.
I think I have the same plan.
Oh my God! You revealed this secret plan. Now everyone will follow it.
I'm so clever. That's why I win everything.
Mm.
So, similar to what we were saying before, can you buy
No,
an external player to making a coach later on? Tassos already replied before I even asked the question. No,
nothing. You
you
cannot
cannot
buy
buy a
anything.
no. It's home.
External coaches, yes. Internal teams, yes, if it's homegrown, if it's from youth, but no buys.
Yeah, and even though we've had this discussion in the forum, we were actually talking, the three of us, before we started the stream, about the external coaches. There are so many opinions. Some
Hmm.
people say that you should be able to get an external coach no matter what. Some others say that, yeah, but the external coach should be from the same country. Or, no, you shouldn't be able to get an external coach. It's homegrown. That would be the most purist of these ideas. I don't think
I
we have
think
a
it's
clear idea on that so far, but
no.
what's your opinion, Tassos?
I think it's safe to say that we could make it that external hiring will be from the same nationality. It's a nice addition, and you keep your homegrown from the same country. But yeah, I don't really see the point to lose this aspect of the game and planning if you can buy a player to convert him to coach. I mean, we are gonna give a player that you can convert later on.
Mhm.
Uh, so while you have that player, start planning for the next one.
Mhm. Yeah, and there's been this suggestion as well, yeah, of having people and players in the starting players in your team to
Mhm.
be able to be future coaches. So I think that's a nice way of, you know,
Mhm.
you're always talking about decision taking. So it's good to not leave everything really clear and set in stone for every team, but to be
Mm.
able to choose whether you want to make this player coach now, wait a bit, or So I think it's good. It's good to have this, and lots of questions. Come on, I see this topic is interesting. Let's start with a light one. Are we gonna see Tassos, Johan, and Chase in the Homegrown League? Yes, I think so.
Actually, I
Yeah, I'm
think
pretty
we
sure.
should
Yes.
hack it somehow to put the three of us in the same
Hmm.
league. That
Wow.
will be cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds doable.
Yeah, it would be nice, but at the same time, those that are in the same group as us, they may think that we have some extra information.
I think
Mm.
the criticism would be that they get an unfair advantage. The ones that
Yeah,
are in our group,
which
at
we
least
don't.
no, that they get an unfair
They
advantage
get.
Ah,
because we're not,
they, yeah,
we don't have the time to manage the team.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, they could get
Maybe,
a good
yeah.
advantage from three players that are not competing well, right?
But I'm sure there will be other HT members that they want to open a homegrown league. Maybe we can convince them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That
We
would be
could get
nice.
8 of us in the same group.
Hmm.
That would be amazing. More questions. Will the homegrown league players be available for national teams?
We don't have any exception right now.
Mhm.
I mean, if something comes up, it will be later, but I mean, before the release. But right now, the plan says that it will be available.
Yeah.
And that's why we have the sales option. Like, if you get such a player, you can sell him.
Yeah, exactly. Because you will have to think of your long-term plan of training your whole team or a part of your team, the parts of your team that you can train. So it may clash with the plans that the coach will have for that special player.
So
So
Peter is in also. So we are 4 now at least in this league.
great. Yeah, I guess the others will join. Goosey for sure.
I don't want Goosey in there. She's too good.
Fun. Goosey in a separate group, right? She will beat
Mm.
us.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have a bug and she doesn't make it to our league.
Mm.
But it's a systemic bug. It's not that we forced that.
So what else? Let's see this one. Do you plan to make possible extra promotions for second place teams to avoid competing 4 real teams versus 4 bots in the highest league levels in the first few seasons? Yeah, I guess that's something related to what's happening in the anniversary league, in which, if I'm correct, we have 4 teams that are human in the first division competing against 4 bots. For for what I can see, Tassos has not thought about it.
Uh,
It's just like, interesting.
I just tried to remember if we have done. I think we have done that in another league, right?
Yeah, I think we have done it. That's maybe it was in. Could it have been in HTI possibly, or
Apache, maybe. I
yeah,
don't
maybe,
remember, but
but it has usually follow-on issues. Like you start to move teams around, and then things get a little weird. So it would be nice to avoid it. But yeah, we have some time to think about that, I guess, until they reach the top.
Going back to the achievements, maybe an achievement should be implemented. Win a match against HT member. It's so easy. You just have to play against us. Maybe make it official matches. It's harder then, but friendlies or Hattrick Arena, that would be so easy. And they would spam us with requests for duels, and I'm not sure we want that. To be defeated so constantly. And going back to that, I previously saw a message that I cannot track back about the Hattrick Masters. Will the homegrown league teams be able to play in the Hattrick Masters?
I think I guess we will treat it a little bit like other new leagues. We might not add them immediately, but after a while. But I don't think. I mean, the idea is not to treat them differently. So it's not like they're in their own universe or anything. I don't know what you say, Tassos, but
no. With the current format, I think it will wait. But as those in backstage knows, and you also have a stream last week, there is a new Masters coming up soon. Actually, not really soon, but maybe like in 2 seasons. So with a new format, all those special leagues can have a place in Masters, but not with the current one. It's not a decision, but I mean, right now it's technically risky to include them With a new format, it will be more like a decision if we want or not to do it. There won't be any kind of technical reasons.
Mhm. I have to say they're kind of bullying us a bit. They don't play Hattrick confirmed, or Goosey will beat your ass off in the league. I have to say, I feel triggered by that, and I will compete really hard in the Homegrown League. Yes, I
Okay.
will shut mouths.
Mhm. Yeah, we will remember that.
That's the spirit, at least.
Actually, I was in a podcast like a month ago, and I left a spoiler without mentioning homegrown. I just mentioned that something is coming that will make me be competitive, real competitive, and it was this homegrown league. I was really waiting for that for so long. So that's
It,
the time.
it
So
was the Hatu Tempo podcast, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna use the how it's called, like the new achievement that has a name. Throwing down the gauntlet. I'm gonna do that to Guzi. So I'm gonna say, come on.
Lots of comments. What else? If you have, guys, if you have seen any that is interesting to highlight,
Mm, there
just
was one, but it was way before. I think from Alpa asking if you sell a player with the homegrown league team, if one of your other own teams can buy that player,
yeah,
I think the same rules apply.
yeah,
You cannot transfer players. So no.
mhm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've never been able to transfer players between your
Mm.
own teams, so of course you cannot do that. So, the cup. Will the cup be a neutral ground? Otherwise, it would be impossible to compete in the cup for the teams that promote first.
Yeah, well,
Interesting.
on the other hand, they got to promote.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We
Yeah.
haven't discussed it. I guess it's possible, but we don't want to, you know, tweak too much either. But I don't know. What do you say, Tassos?
I agree. It's not something we have discussed, and I think if they promote it first, then they deserve something. So
It's something
maybe,
that we can think about
yeah.
Yeah.
and give it some thoughts. Another question. What do you think the impact of all those additional players would be on the hat trick economy, given that that the homegrown league teams cannot spend their money on the transfer market? That's come up a lot too in the forums.
Mhm.
Uh,
I
I
mean,
think you all. Please.
yeah. I mean, hypothetically, I mean, we're talking about maybe, maybe 5% more teams maximum in the Hattrick ecosystem. So it's not huge. I don't. I'm guessing a little bit how many teams there will be, but
Mhm.
the impact should not be that big. Um,
Yeah, and they're not buying players. They'll
Mm.
sell few.
Yeah.
mm,
It was something that you mentioned is in the forum that if you the best players will not be so many, and if you get some best like the top player, you want to keep it in the
Exactly.
homegrown. So I think it's overestimated that there will be like a huge flow of new players coming up. If there will be some players, it will be really crappy players that no one want to buy. I
mm.
mean, triple weak players. Who is gonna pay for that? So I
Yeah.
don't think the impact will be a problem.
Yeah, exactly. Alpa is asking again about the homegrown cup winner and homegrown champion of the first division participating or not in the hat trick masters. I think we already
Mm.
replied to that. Probably Alpa is now halfway between streams because I think there's like the stream from the French community at the same time going on, so he
Yeah.
missed this.
Yeah, actually, if I judge based on the history, Alpa is now writing notes because he's gonna post these huge summaries in Global in a week, saying like Tasso said this, Chase said this, and Johan said this. So he's just writing down all his notes. It's like those therapists you go and you're lying on the bed and he's just writing and you don't know what. But I'm so happy from that.
So another question that's been asked quite a lot, and we've already replied a bit to it, like in previous streams. The possibility for the newest countries that have been appearing in Hattrick to play, finally to be able to play internationally. So can we remind those users where we
Yeah,
are?
actually, we had plans, and probably it will be the next editorial that we announce when exactly that will be possible. Uh, when we designed this new World Cup system, there was part of the specifications that could cover these uneven groups, and this is something that we plan to implement in the next 1 or 2 seasons. So after that, the new leagues will be able to participate. So there will be an official announcement, so they know when they can start prepare.
And actually, I didn't see that message from Art Spam. Winning against us, easy peasy. HTs are easy to defeat. Yeah, but not in the Homegrown League. We'll play hard. I mean, abiding by the rules, but we'll fight. We'll fight to keep our names to our standards. So what else? Any other questions that you have seen that we may? Yeah, I've seen another one. Let me spot it. It was something about new countries. Fabri Chape. Will there be a new country also?
Yeah, I think we will add at least one.
We just don't know
Yeah.
which one.
That's a very mysterious process that is still ongoing.
Yeah.
There was a user who tried to predict or actually
Yeah, that was
identify
really
a
funny.
pattern.
Yeah.
That was nice. It was funny because it started making sense, but it was totally random. So
Yeah. So talking about predicting and guessing, we have this. What is the HSC? So I've seen lots of comments here already in the beginning when we started the stream, and there are very interesting things that maybe we can think about, like the Hattrick Specialty Championship, the Hattrick Star Cup, Hattrick Secret Code, Hattrick Silly Cup, the Senior Club, Super Cup. That's good. I didn't realize those were the same initials.
I have to
I
admit
have
that
to break in here first. I have to say two things. First of all, the Hattrick
I like this
Senior
one.
Club
I like this
is.
one.
I have to say two things. Sorry.
So, Johan, please.
Yes, the Hattrick Senior Club is a great idea.
Yeah.
I like that one. And the Super Cup sounds good also. But it's not those. The other thing is that the author of that article that you remembered about predicting the next World Cup was the ever-present LA Alpa.
Come
Of
on.
course.
This guy is everywhere. He's everywhere, but not in our streams. We should invite him one day
Yeah, we
Yeah.
absolutely should. Yes.
if he is up for it. Before we go back to the HSC, just a new question that popped up, and I think it's very interesting, by Maxim Robbie. I just took a look at the free spots in countries. There are quite a few with no free slots. Are there any plans on expanding those? We actually started testing that in the last off season, where we added some divisions to some three division leagues, and even Nicaragua, with which was a four division league, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
So I guess we can add three slots. What do you think, Tassos?
Well, the plan, we identified back then several countries that has a potential to increase the divisions. And I think it makes total sense to start thinking about bringing a balance between the different leagues. So, um, yeah, maybe we can expand some again
Mhm.
this or next season, and then
Yeah.
um, it's always important to consider all the aspects of it's every league is different. So yeah, I cannot say without knowing which countries, but I say that it's safe to say that we are gonna do something.
Mhm. Yeah, but there are some countries that have been demanding for that for
Mm.
years. So we'll have to take a look at that. So let's
But
go back to. Sorry, you were
I just
saying?
want to say before when you wrote down the BSC, I
Yeah.
have to admit that I thought that it was Bob Suneson opening a new bank because that name sounds like a bank.
I told Johan it reminded me like of a bank.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
so Bob Suneson or Bank Suneson something. I don't know.
Exactly. That's the bank. Yeah, I like this name. Hattrick Sexy Clones. Woohoo! I love that one. And I have to say that I've seen very nice proposals too in the forum, like the Hattrick Supporter Club, Statistics Center. I mean, everybody knows that the H stands for Hattrick, right? Because everybody is saying Hattrick something. So, Hattrick Shopping Center, Hattrick Summer Camp, Hattrick Scout Center, Strategy Center, lots of centers, Skill Center, Simulation Center. And there was the Hattrick Sun Club as well, which is really interesting. I think I can give a hint. One hint first for people to try and guess something. That's a hint. A very, I would say, hard to guess hint, but let's
Yes.
start with the typical hints. So it's something that it's based on. So we've based the HSC on that. So Hattrick sex is something, could be because it's a heart. And I would say first, shut up, because you already said a nice thing in the forum. And let's give another hint. Let's give another hint before that. Maybe this thing helps. I don't know if you are into popular popular culture.
I'm not sure our demographic is the perfect fit for this event, but
Yeah,
many of us are now teenage parents, and it might be more appealing
yeah.
to
I think people are starting to guess it now.
uh,
They're starting to guess it. I had another hint prepared. Malmo 2024,
Mhm.
2024, because it's something is happening in Malmo this year, and as you probably all know, Malmo is where the headquarters of Hattrick is. So we had to do it, right?
Yeah.
We had to do it, and yeah, you all guessed it. Now it well, no, I was going to say everybody is guessing it, but not everybody. But yeah,
Yeah.
most of the users now are
Let's
guessing it.
there's a few things that are like a few stars align here. We
Yeah, it's not easy.
we have our development in Malmö, and the whole city is being taken over by the Eurovision in May. But then also, I mean, of course, this doesn't have that much to do with Eurovision. It's more like it's a funny format. But like I've always felt that when users create music, because this has been happening for as long as I can remember in Hattrick, that people make their own songs, and there's no way to share it. There's no way really that we have encouraged it in the past. So I think it's something that could be fun to do for once. Now we have the streaming platform. We are doing video content, and we have a community manager who happens to be a musician. So it kind of fits well into the general wave of things.
Yeah, exactly.
Then also we have like an interesting, I think, moment in time where if some of you might have spotted a thread in Global where I was active this week, and that is the thread with the AI generated songs and so on. So like I have had a lot of discussions with Chase about whether this is a good thing or not.
Exactly.
But I think it's really cool that it's possible to generate the song out in just a few seconds, and that you can write your own lyrics and you can get a song around that and choose the genre and so on. But of course, I mean, it's much cooler and much more interesting to have our users create the song themselves, and with real instruments and so on. But we're agnostic. You can go crazy with all the tools available to you. I guess that's what I'm saying. But I think there's like a lot of room for creativity in both directions. But it's, since we're quite curious about all this that is happening with the technology, it's also a good moment to try this competition, I think, because even if it's not doing the music, you can do videos, or you can do images for the presentation and so on.
So yeah, the first thing I think now that we've introduced it, the first thing we have to do now is explain a little bit what it is.
Sure.
I mean, Hattrick Song Contest, what is it about? So it would be something like the Eurovision Song Contest that it's based on, and also with countries. So it would be nice if every country that wants to take part, of course, we don't expect 150 countries taking part in it. If every country the community organizes themselves to present a good song. I mean, maybe we have composers, maybe we have singers, maybe we have musicians, maybe we have someone with the home recording studio, and someone who can shoot a nice video, someone with acting, someone with dancing. I don't know. I mean, the options are huge. But if a country doesn't have one or several of these things, that's where AI comes in. So you can like write a song or write some lyrics, but you cannot write a song, write some lyrics and feed them to AI so that the AI can compose a song. Then maybe you can dance it, or maybe you can sing or make a good video or something like that. So the community has to organize themselves. Of course, there can be some different proposals in some countries. Then you will have to decide yourself in each country by means of a vote who you will present to this song contest. And I'll reply to one question here, first of all, before I go on. Can Canada participate even if this is Eurovision? This is not Eurovision. This is Hattrick Song Contest. So, of course, in every country can take part, but just one entry per country. And then we will do the voting as close as we can as in the Eurovision Song Contest. And I would say that we'll try to have it in the same week. So we'll say a lot about it in the next week, actually.
Yeah.
So, but
we'll have an announcement on the
exactly. But we felt like we had to give this teaser to our streaming viewers because it's actually the platform that
Mhm.
it will be broadcasted on. So here it is, the Hattrick Song Contest. Do you have anything, guys, that you want to add to it? Because it's just a quick
Yeah,
I
description.
just look forward to Tassos' Greek folk music, singer-songwriter uh, song that we will see.
Now that you mentioned that, Johan, we have this question for you. Are you going to sing?
Maybe my avatar will sing. We'll see.
I haven't touched my guitar for more than 10 years, so probably I'm not gonna sing. I'm gonna use AI. It's easier for me. But I'm gonna ask because there is a comment. If you
Yeah.
go like Sage can participate in Eurovision with all the music instruments behind. I want to ask you in front of everyone, like there is those YouTube videos, like a single artist, like a whole band, like those grids that the same person appear with a different instrument and they play
Mhm.
like the whole song. You have all the music instruments behind you. You can do it, and you can be one of the participants. You can represent the Hattrick team.
Yeah.
Okay. Challenge accepted, but maybe without participating in the voting.
Yeah,
Uh,
of
Yeah.
course.
you know,
It's more like
I'm not going to say that I would win because we are the hat trick team or
yeah,
something,
Mhm.
but let's keep it countries.
yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know, in the last Eurovision Song Contest or one before that, there was Mika, singing before that out of the contest. So,
Yeah.
or the previous Eurovision. So yeah, we
You
could
can
just,
open up the contest.
for
Mhm.
instance,
No, but
yeah.
I mean, it's often the presenter does one number himself, right? So one act. So I think it makes sense. And
Yeah.
many
So we
many
could do
people
that.
have asked on the stream when you're gonna do a new Hattrick song, right? So
So
maybe.
that's a good moment to do it. I mean, I'm not gonna do it when we're presenting the Homegrown League, but now it makes sense for the song contest. So one
Mhm.
more thing that we have not mentioned, I think, is that the songs have to be hat-trick related.
Mm,
And it's
Yeah.
not like, okay, yeah, let's present this song that this guy has written. No, no. Let's write something hat-trick with hat-trick theme. And
Mhm.
actually, I have received a private message from from Peter that made me laugh. I'm not gonna say it here from Art
Mhm.
Spam. So the thing is, back to oh yeah, wait, before that, what's the price of this contest? Recognition.
eternal recognition.
I mean, what's the prize in Eurovision? Okay, organizing the next one. That
Yeah,
would be good.
which is is a huge cost and not very popular. Like every
Like,
time. Now, I mean, this is a little, it maybe no big surprise that we come up with this idea because Sweden is kind of maybe not me personally, but Sweden as a country is like totally addicted to this contest, and we
mhm.
have won it 7 times. So and every time Sweden wins, it's like, oh no, oh no, how are we gonna pay for this arrangement? But yeah.
Yeah, all the national wealth going into Eurovision
Hmm.
several times.
Yeah.
So good question.
Mm,
I had never thought of that. I mean, we haven't still published the guidelines and conditions, but covers of existing songs with changed text,
yeah.
hat-trick related. I wouldn't say no to that.
No,
Yeah,
it's
I
it's a
mean,
cover. Like, yeah, I understand.
mhm.
Yeah, I think that could be acceptable.
It could be good, yeah. And actually, as Sub-Level 4 says, Weird Al Yankovic, he's a famous
Mm.
singer that makes parodies of songs. Like they sound similar, but the lyrics are like silly. Like instead of like a virgin from Madonna, he sings like a surgeon and
Mhm.
explaining his first time operating someone, which goes really wrong. So something like that, it could be nice. Bob
Yep.
Sunason, good contestant as well. So yeah, I would say yeah, because if we allow AI composing the music, composing, we can allow covers. The biggest thing with AI is the licensing, because sometimes if we you know about that, Johan, because you've been
Mhm.
experimenting a lot with this tool. If you do it for free, you have some licensing issues, right? You cannot broadcast it in some places, so that could be a problem for the
Mm.
stream or YouTube, maybe,
Yeah,
or
Yeah, I
Spotify.
think
I I think it
it's like
should be attributed, like if someone does it with an AI, it has to be explicitly mentioned
yeah.
Hmm.
The thing
that
is that you
it's.
can't monetize it either. I mean, like you
Yeah.
can't put it. I think it should probably okay. I mean, we don't have ads in this stream, so it should probably be okay for us to show some content that is AI generated. But like we couldn't continue to using those songs in future streams. But
Mhm.
if with these tools, often like if you pay a basic subscription, 10 euros or dollars or something,
Mhm.
and then you have total rights. So then you could even like put it up on Spotify and earn money on it
Mhm.
if you do it.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll cover those details in the guidelines.
exactly. But I have to say, you know that, Johanna, I would like to encourage the people to be
Yeah.
creative themselves,
Mm.
to put all the creativity that they have into good lyrics or even singing with a guitar and a camera. I mean, I think it's better than just an AI
Hmm.
writing a song. But of course, if one country wants to take part and there's no one who can bring this thing, so you can use AI. So, do
Yeah.
you guys have any questions? I think, yeah, there were some questions at the beginning, but they seem to like it, right? Do you like that thing? I mean, I know it's not. Maybe if you were expecting like the Hattrick Senior Cup, this is not something that is based, in game. But I think it will be
I think
fun.
it will be fun. I mean, this is something not too serious, of course, and it all depends. If we get contributions, enough contributions. But I think like even if it's only 10, it's still gonna be fun to do the contest. So we'll just see what users come up with. It's
Yeah,
it could be.
we have some users that will create something good, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you will have to set, pen to paper soon because the song contest is in the early May. So besides, we'll need to have this process of voting and all this. So maybe 3 weeks, maybe that's the time that you may have. So pen to paper and start writing and doing some things that showcasing talent. We have some questions back to the previous subjects like that achievement and the Homegrown League. Shall we just finish by replying to those
Sure.
questions? So, do you have to have supporter to be in the Homegrown League, I guess? And I have Platinum supporter now. Do you have to upgrade to Diamond? It depends on how many teams you have. You have to be supporter because it's an additional team,
Yeah.
right, Johan?
Mhm.
Yes, exactly. And you can be platinum, but you need to have an available slot. So you can use the slot that is included in platinum, or you can use an additional team license. If you already have 3 teams in platinum and you don't want to give one up, you have to get an extra slot, which we're gonna make it possible now because we're gonna have a fourth.
Exactly. And I'm not sure I get this one, but let's see if I can read it. Tassos, how about opening up some of the closed achievements in stages? Do you
Actually, I
understand?
read it myself. I'm not sure what he means.
Okay, so we have these like penalties being maxed out after 20. I'm kind of lost.
Yeah, not
And we
sure.
have another question about nationalities. can I participate in another country other than mine? And can a region like Catalonia or Galicia participate? We have some requirements that are based on the leagues, on the countries. Because one of the things that we'd like to do to make it possible is the fact that people can vote in polls, but only if their primary team is from that country. That is, when choosing a candidate to represent the country, only the people who have the primary team in that country will be able to vote. Otherwise, there could be like some weird voting, especially in the voting phase where you will be able to vote for how many points your country will give to each of the finalists. So I think it's something that restricts things to countries as they are in Hattrick now. So sorry, but I think it's a no in this case. It hurts, but it's no. So what else? Did you hear what I said? Because I said it really softly so that it wouldn't be heard. So sub
Yeah,
level. Going back to what he was asking before, there are achievements that when you reach a certain number, it is finished. Like
Okay.
penalties. Okay, now we get penalties,
Mhm.
TSI, etc. How about giving them new levels? Tasos.
Yeah, there are achievements that there is no point to give more. They are not achievable more than that. But yeah, I think that's possible. I don't have anything in my mind right now, but we can consider that in the future.
Mhm. Okay. So, not related, but I'm curious why they are some free agents players. Do you know what he means? Free agents, and I'm lost now. Some of them used to be players from my first Hattrick team. It would be cool if in the future I can have them in my Hall of Fame. And why some are free agents and some other players disappear?
If if you delete a player, then they just disappear from the Hattrick world. But if the team get closed with the players, then they become free agents. But I we don't have any concept around that. I don't know if there was initially designed like that years ago. I don't know. Do you remember anything, Johan? Was there any concept, any idea to bring them somehow to?
no, I mean we have. I'm not sure I get exactly, but um, I mean the fact that we call them free agents is just because we have to call them something, I guess, because they are in the Hall of Fame, but they don't have, like
Their team doesn't exist anymore.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but no, there's no further concept around that. The only thing we have talked about is like using Hall of Fame players, like to be able to play a Hall of Fame game or something like that. But that's like an unrelated question, I guess.
Mhm. Okay. More homegrown league questions. Will all the youth come from some country in your team? I guess from the country where your team is based on, or can we have players from all over the world? That could be fun. Yo,
Yeah,
I know you like that.
yeah, I like the idea of international youth players. I mean we have talked about it back and forth, and there is always some arguments against it and some for it. But I mean, like if we would do that, it would not be for the homegrown league; it would be for everyone. But I guess the most common argument is that it would affect the balance of small leagues versus large. But like small league, like let's say that a German team could get youth players from Tahiti, then of course there would be a lot more players from Tahiti in the game,
Mhm.
and that would make their national teams have a bigger talent pool. But is that such a bad thing? I don't know, but you have then also an economical advantage by getting youth players from those leagues, I guess. But that would also like even out after a while. So I don't know. It's quite a big question, but I just think it's cool if we could do it.
Yeah, it would be nice, but it's tricky because
it's nice but tricky, exactly.
So, if the Homegrown League is successful, will you think about increasing full homegrown team strength on the normal league? A lot of debate about that as well.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tasos?
Yeah, I think it's really tricky to start talking about making specific tactics more or less powerful. Yeah, let's not get into that. I don't see anything in the immediate, like in the near future. But yeah. I think they're already enough powerful, but
Yes.
that's it.
You can highlight the Fabri Schapp's comment there, because I think this is a good one.
Double nationality.
Yeah, so that's another idea that I've had, and that like if you buy a player that never gets picked up by a national team, and then like after 3 seasons or something, he might be eligible for the new country that he's in, and that I think is, I mean, that would be a much more controlled thing and pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah, I guess it has some implications as well, but I really like it. It makes it adds a lot of value. So, do we have plans to include Namibia and Zimbabwe as leagues, as many other leagues that people have been suggesting? I guess there are many people that are interested in the leagues that they have some second teams or that they are coaches of the national team of to like get their leagues open with more divisions, and at the same time we have some people rooting for some countries that they like or that they live in or that they like going on vacation to be like thought about, when adding a new league. Maybe we should like someday gather all these petitions so that we can see.
There was a previous question far back in the stream about Tajikistan and and like
Turkmenistan, I think. Yeah.
Turkmenistan, yeah, and like are there political reasons for us not picking them? There is not in those cases, at least. Namibia and Zimbabwe. Do we have plans to include them? I mean, all four of those are absolutely great candidates. Then what happens usually is that, like, we wanna, when we release a few leagues, we want there to be a little bit of a balance, so that maybe one in Africa, one in America, or one in Asia. In America, it's very hard now to find new countries because they're all used up. In Africa, we have a lot. In Asia, we have not so many, but we still have plenty. But then this problem is this, like the sizing of these competitions, the regional competitions. So that's something that we also have to consider. Then I also like to consider, like, if there's like some kind of like connection between a country. So like I wouldn't add Mozambique and Cape Verde in the same update because they're both Portuguese speaking. So maybe it's more fun to have countries that have a different background. So you can pick. So yeah, that's how we think. And there's nothing, no agenda against Namibia. Then I can also mention that, like when we have, let's say, decided to do something in Africa, then what I would do is look at like their kind of status in football. That's one part. Like, have they been in a big championship? Have they like recently gone far in African Cup or something like that, then that's pretty cool to add them. But then there also have to be like a realistic amount of users. So for example, I think Sudan was an example of a country that has a big population, but it's like it's very, 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 very unlikely that we will get a big community growing out of that country for lots of reasons. And like I or yeah, so then we might pick something else. But it's a very like I say, it's a mysterious process. It's not there's no written rules really.
So the other question that usually pops up is, when will some nations, like Grenada in this case, have a national team? So Johan, I think we've replied to that times, but
Yeah, Tassos is better situated
Tasos?
to answer this, I think, but it's coming.
One of the next editorials will have all the details.
Perfect. So let's go back a little bit to the Homegrown League. Have you thought of starting all the Homegrown Leagues with a squad full of 17-year-olds, 3 or 4 stats? So it's trainer's choice what to train, instead of rely on youth pools early, to get more diversity early in the league.
Actually, when we create the initial players, right now most of them quite old. But we have the opportunity, if we want to create like 4 or 5 of them at the age of 17 with really low stats, and add them on top of that, so they can train them whatever they want to. I don't think it's a bad idea to include a few, but not a full of them. I mean,
Yeah, and maybe not that bad, like 3 or 4, but maybe 5.
it can be like 5.
Yeah, even though from 3 to 5, depending on the training, it can be quick. But
Yeah.
okay, so a couple more questions. I'm glad to see that Teles has a crazy idea that he would like to represent the level of France at Eurovision or Hattrick song contest in this case, but he's a very bad singer. So yeah, maybe in the French community you'll have good singers. I mean, you have famously good singers all over the years, and actually very good country Eurovision wise. You know, Franz Gall, I remember. Well, I wasn't there at that time because it was in 1960 something, but I really like the song that she sang. And Alpa, yeah, Alpa is really, I think, split into 2 different streams, because he asked if we can use AI for the Hattrick Eurovision contest. I'm not going to reply to you, Alpa. I know you will see the whole stream again and type it all, and you will find the answer there at that time. So I don't know if there's any more. Hey, Alpa is a really good singer. I like that. I like that. So yeah, a good combination. So that's a good thing about the song contest, as we have it in mind, is the community can get together and create something nice with the talents that everybody has. So I think we're done for today, right, guys? Do you have any other questions that you want to reply to?
No, I'm just happy we have another person here. Sahara Dark is saying that he or she feels the pressure to win HSC as a Swede.
Yeah.
So we're counting on you.
Yeah. And your talents, because Sweden takes it really passionately.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's one of our few remaining national prides. So
exactly. So if Sweden won the first World Cups in Hattrick, maybe the pressure is doubled as well, because it's Hattrick and it's Eurovision together. So Sweden must win. So I don't want to put pressure on you, but
no, it's more like a as long as Norway doesn't win. Yeah.
Okay, Norwegians, kick the Swedes on the ass.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that's it for today, right, guys?
Yep.
Okay, then see you in the next stream. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Johan. Thank you, Tasos, for your expert opinions. And see you pretty soon. Bye, everyone.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See you on the forum.